In this video, we're going to discuss adding observations and catch while you're actively engaged in a tow or a drag. First, notice that we have an observations log that loads with every trip that can be found as an event here in the left-hand panel. And to access your observations log, you can expand this panel and tap Add/Update at any time. Furthermore, you can access your observations log by tapping the observations button down here at the bottom. And there's even a third place to access your observations log, and that's here in the actions menu by tapping Add Observations. For now, we'll just tap Add Observations here in the bottom below the map while we're underway towing gear. Now you can see here that we can add watercolor records, water temperature records, and stomach contents records, along with numbers of juvenile sablefish encountered during the trip. Let's start by adding a watercolor record. So tap the plus bar that says Add Watercolor Record up at the top. And here, all you need to do is just tap where it says Tap to Select and pick a watercolor depending on what's around you. We'll select green for this example. And notice that there's a little arrow next to the word color. You don't need to worry about this too much, but know that if there's an arrow next to any of these bars, the bar can be expanded. And this one, when you expand it, shows you the time of day, the date, and the lat long for this particular green water record. If we wish to add another watercolor record, tap the bar above again, and there's a second slot now where we can add a new color. Say if we move locations and have encountered, for example, brown water where we currently are. Select brown, we'll tap done, and again if we expand that, it gives us the lat and long, the time of day, and the date for that observation. Same thing here with water temperature records. Tap Add Water Temp Record, tap the black box over on the right where it shows Fahrenheit as the unit, and enter a number in there for water temperature. Similar to color above, sea surface temperature is recorded along with a lat and long and a date and time for the purpose of data integrity for this project. I'm going to skip stomach contents for now, and we're going to cover that in its own video. But a quick note on juvenile sablefish. If you encounter any, you can tap on the number here to enter a manual number using the keypad, or you can simply add the plus or minus button, or use the plus or minus button to add smaller increments of sablefish. When you're done recording observations, tap Keep Fishing. And now just remember that you can go into observations, and you should go into observations as often as you can to record these sorts of data analyses as you're fishing. So again, if we want to go back into observations and add to that log, we can just tap observations again. It shows us everything we've recorded so far for the trip, and we can simply add to these things as we go. Let's move over to catch. So while you're actively dragging or towing and you want to add some catch, tap the Add Catch button at the bottom of the screen. To add a species, tap the bar at the top, Add Catch Species, and select a species. We'll stick with coho for this example. You can use again the plus or minus buttons to add smaller increments of fish, or you can tap the number itself to add larger numbers so it's quicker. Notice that Deckhand gives you a new running total here, and it'll keep calculating this as we go. If you have other species you'd like to add, such as another species of salmon, you can tap Add Catch Species here and repeat the process that we just went through with coho. The project has us also entering numbers of total halibut released, again using either the plus or minus or just tapping on the 0 there and entering your own manual number. You can do so in that field there. And when you're done adding catch for the moment, tap Keep Fishing. Keep in mind your gear's in the water the whole time, and say an hour later or a few minutes later when we're ready to add a few more fish, tap the Add Catch button again, and you'll see that we have our previous running total of coho. Let's add a couple more for good measure. Now we're up to 12. And Deckhand will keep a running tally of this as we go for each drag. I'll hit Keep Fishing again to keep fishing. That's it for this video. We will cover stomach contents and how to end your drag and end your trip in subsequent videos.